I'm Kate Andrews, and here's a look at what is going on this week in the news. And we begin from Rome. The Synod of Bishops on the Family is finishing up its second week of sessions. Cardinal Vincent Nichols of Westminster spoke about how the bishops are discussing the relationship between justice and mercy.
The temptation which has been around all this year is that somehow there is a conflict between justice and mercy, and that somehow mercy always, as it were, replaces justice. So under the appeal of mercy, the church may say to people, it doesn't matter what you do, it's fine. It doesn't matter. But that's a profound misunderstanding of the relationship between justice and mercy. My hope certainly is that the Pope will reflect and issue an exhortation or a magisterial document. That request is beginning to come through, I think, in the debates. My own instinct is that the Holy Father has asked us and encouraged us to speak very freely because he is very clear about his own role. And secondly, I think my instinct is that he has established the Jubilee Year of Mercy precisely to create the context into which his reflections or his definitive statements about the theme of this synod can be received. So my hope is certainly that he will complete this process, because it seems to me that it will need bringing to a conclusion, and there's only one person who can do that.
In news from around the country, this week the Massachusetts Appeals Court ruled that parishioners of the closed St. Francis ex Cabrini Church in Scituate are trespassing. Friends of St. Francis ex Cabrini, Inc. have been keeping a vigil in the church since October 26, 2004, the day the church was closed. The Archdiocese issued a statement after the ruling saying it welcomed the decision. An attorney representing the group says they will seek a rehearing of their case. They also requested a meeting with Boston Cardinal Sean O'Malley. In news from the Vatican, once again, Pope Francis made international news when he asked for forgiveness for the Church's sins. Rome Reports has more from the Pope's general audience.
Pope Francis started off his weekly general audience by making his way through St. Peter's Square on the Pope-mobile, blessing crowds every few minutes. The day's gospel reading dealt with avoiding sin. Before giving his catechesis, the Pope asked for forgiveness for the scandals of the Church, though he didn't specify exactly what matter he was referring to.
Prima di iniziare la catechesi, in nome della Chiesa, chiedervi perdono per gli scandali che in questi ultimi tempi sono caduti sia a Roma che in Vaticano. Vi chiedo perdono.
Following the theme of the family, the Pope focused on why it's key for parents to foster the faith of their children. That includes not trying to take the place of God.
La loro spontanea fiducia in Dio non dovrebbe mai essere ferita, soprattutto quando ciò avviene a motivo di una certa presunzione, più o meno inconscia, di sostituirci a Lui.
Among the thousands of pilgrims in St. Peter's Square, there was a group of 33 miners from Chile. The miners were trapped underground for 70 days back in 2010. The Pope thanked them for their courage and for keeping hope alive.
Creo que cualquiera de ustedes sería capaz de venir acá y decirnos qué significa la esperanza. Gracias por tener esperanza en Dios.
Pope Francis met with the miners during the general audience. It was the group's second papal encounter. They also met with Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI in 2013. And finally in the news, the percentage of people living in extreme poverty is set to go below 10% for the first time on record. However, that still leaves a lot of work to do if the United Nations wants to reach their goal of wiping out extreme poverty entirely by 2030. Filipino Archbishop Bernardito Oza, the Vatican's permanent observer to the UN, spoke October 13th at a UN committee session on poverty eradication and development issues. He said that 10% means more than 700 million people are still living extremely poor. According to recent World Bank figures, 2.2 billion people live on less than the equivalent of $2 a day. Archbishop Oza said that that's only a slight decline from 2.59 billion in 1981. Well, that's going to do it for news. I'm Kate Andrews. Don't forget, you can keep up to date on Catholic news throughout the week with Catholic News Break right here on the Catholic TV Network.